Welcome into the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com for Saturday, March the 10th. Tom Leach, along with Jim Goodman, Keeneland's Director of Wagering Development. And we're going to talk about the card at Santa Anita, which includes 4 graded stakes races. And we're going to take a look at those, headlined by the Grade 1 Santa Anita Handicap. And then we'll also give you a late pick 4 ticket as well, but only one of the stakes is included in that late pick 4. So, Jim, let's jump in with the Grade 1. It's in the 4th race early on the card, the 7 furlong Triple Bend. Where did you land?
I landed, there's a horse in here that's cross-entered in the Santa Anita Handicap with giant expectations, and I think he's going to get a lot of wagering money in here, but he's coming back to 7 furlongs from a mile and 1/8. He ran the Pegasus World Cup at Gulfstream. He's obviously got a pretty good record at Santa Anita. I'm not going to use him here, although he's going to get a lot of wagering support. I'm going to use Edwards Going Left for Sadler. That's California Cup sprint race. That was when I was in Vegas for the handicapping championship, and I watched that race a couple of times, and he just blew them away. Won by 6 in racehorse time, 109.2, and I think that sets him up for the 7 furlongs. He's won twice at 7 furlongs. I think City of Light beat him last time out, but I'm going to give Edwards Going Left a little advantage because he had that prep race on January 27th. I think he'll be primed for a better effort. Third back, City of Light may need one, and I don't think he's going to get an easy lead with Captain Scotty on the outside. It's only a 6-horse field. It's pretty good quality. Of course, there's giant expectation scratches at it. It goes down to 5. So we'll go with Edwards Going Left here for John Sadler and Tyler Bays.
That's where I started to go myself, and I ended up talking myself into the 4-horse, Bobby Abu Dhabi, for 2 reasons. Big improvement in the first start off a layoff, and then Peter Miller's barn has just been really hot. So I'm looking for a little bit of a price here, admittedly, and I'm going to take Bobby Abu Dhabi for a bit of an upset, use him with Edwards Going Left and City of Light as well. 5th race is the Grade 1 Kilroe Mile, and it's turf on the turf at a flat mile. And you got World Approval in here, the Breeders' Cup winner. It's going to be a huge favorite. If you want to try to beat him, I would look at What of You. He's got 3 buyers of 100 or better. That would make him competitive with World Approval. He's got speed, and he's won 6 times out of 12 starts on the Santa Anita course. And for those reasons, if somebody upsets World Approval, I think this is the guy to do it. So I would go there. But if you're singling World Approval, I could certainly see that. But he is going cross country, so they may be vulnerable. But I'm going to What of You would be the one I would use if you want to try to upset World Approval in here. What about you?
Yeah, I would suggest this is kind of an all-graded stakes pick 3. We're going to talk about the San Felipe in a minute. And I would suggest that there are going to be big favorites in all these races. I like Edwards Going Left in the 4th, and I would single World Approval here. And you got a couple of possibilities in the next, and maybe try to hit a $10 pick 3 or something like that. 'Cause World Approval is much the best horse. 4 consecutive wins, including the Breeders' Cup. I just don't see anybody jumping up here. I agree that What of You, if What of You and Ohm don't both go to the lead, whichever one of those gets the lead could last a while. They both have speed. What of You's got better speed, so I would tend to agree with your alternative. But you're going up against the Breeders' Cup champion that's for Mark Cassidy, that's on top of his game with Flavian Pratt. Not Johnny Velasquez, but Flavian Pratt's pretty good at Santa Anita, so I'm going to go with World Approval here. Ohm could have a shot. What of You could have a shot, but I think he's going to be the favorite.
6th race is a Derby prep. It's the Grade 2 San Felipe that leads into the Santa Anita Derby and then the Kentucky Derby. For 3-year-olds, will go a mile into 16th here. You've got Bolt d'Oro, who was the favorite for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile and ran 3rd. You've got a Baffert horse, McKenzie, in here, who's generated a lot of buzz. Where are you going in the San Felipe?
Well, I think if you watch Bolt d'Oro in the Juvenile, I don't think he's going to run as wide as he did that day. He was in the 11 hole, just never had a prayer, and he got a bad start. He winds up getting beat by 6 lengths, and I don't think anybody's writing him off because of that effort. So been working lights out. I think he's going to be a deserving favorite here. McKenzie is a late developing horse for Baffert and won the Sham at Santa Anita, so he's got 2 races over the track. He's 2 for 2, and Boat d'Oro won the front runner here last September. So both of them have experience over the track. I think it's a 2-horse race with the edge going to Boat d'Oro just because he showed so much class those first 3 races, and he was a huge favorite going to the Breeders' Cup and got completely wiped out by the 11 hole. A horse that might have a shot at a price is a late developing 3-year-old by Jerry Hollendorfer called Kanthaka. Ran in the San Vicente last time out at 7 furlongs. This is his first time around 2 turns, so that's a step up. But he's won 2 in a row, and he won pretty easily that day, and Pratt takes him back. He's 2 for 2 at Santa Anita as well. So you're going to get a price on that one because the 2 horses are going to get all the money. So Kanthaka maybe, if the other 2 need a race, maybe. I'm not sure. I don't know that I go searching for a price here, though. Boat d'Oro is pretty strong.
I'm going to take Kanthaka. I was wondering when you were started down that road if you were going to land on him because I'm intrigued a little bit by him. He's got to stretch out, but I think he can do that. Hollendorfer and Pratt is a pretty potent combo. And this horse, off a bit of a layoff, got a 99 buyer in the San Vicente win. And those horses that have used the San Vicente as their 3-year-old debut, I think back to Silver Charm, and then you had Nyquist a couple of years ago, and Exaggerator both came out of the San Vicente. I really like starting a 3-year-old campaign in that spot at 7 furlongs, and this horse was real impressive with that big improvement. Now if he moves forward off that race in the second off a layoff, I think he's got a shot. Bolt d'Oro's coming off a layoff. I'm not sure if McKenzie is Baffert's best one, so I'm going to take Kanthaka to upset him, use those other 2 with him, and make him the key horse in Exactas. The pick 4 starts in the 8th race. We'll come back to that in a minute. We want to talk about the other graded stake. It's the Grade 1 Santa Anita Handicap. So much history in this race. And with the race over in the United Arab Emirates in recent years, that has taken some of the edge off this race. But, again, tremendous history here. Baffert's got a couple in here. I ended up going on Mubtahij, who I think may move up at 1.25 miles. It's the second start off a layoff. And the main thing that put me on the Mubtahij was the switch to Mike Smith. I like that a lot. Big Money Mike. So I'm going to use him. In the pick 4, I'm going to use the 2 Bafferts, the other one being Hopportunity, who has danced a lot of these kinds of dances. Fear of the Cowboys, the other one that I thought was worth a look. Looks to be improving. But Mubtahij for me in the Santa Anita Handicap. How about you?
I'm torn here. I think Mubtahij has a big shot. I settled on between Opportunity and Accelerate, and I went back. Accelerate won the last time out in the San Pasquale at 1.8 miles, so that was his first win at Santa Anita. So his record before then was not great, but he ran well back in the summer. He ran okay in the Pacific Classic. I just think that he might be sitting on a big one here. If he runs back to his Pacific Classic 110, nobody in this crowd has run that kind of number. Opportunity's really consistent in the low 100s. Nobody else has come close to that. So I think Accelerate might be in his 3rd race off of layoff, might be cycling back to a really big effort. So I'm going to take him on top here, but I'm going to use Mubtahij in the pick 4 as well. But I'm going to take a stand with those 2, I believe, as I go deep in the race before this.
That's the problem in building a pick 4 ticket is trying to narrow it down. I couldn't single anybody. So let's talk pick 4 tickets. The 8th race is where it begins. The late pick 4 starts with a 3-year-old filly Calbred race at 1 mile on the turf. Then you've got a non-winner or 2 claiming the Santa Anita Handicap, and then finishes up with a maiden race around 2 turns on the turf. So take us back to the 8th and give us your pick 4 ticket.
Yeah, it's a great handicapping exercise, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
A $12,000 claimer, non-winners of 2 lifetime, and you got grade 1. So, okay, so what I did in the first leg, the China Doll, I took a stand with Ms. Bad Behavior for DeSormo and Baltus. I thought that last race ran 2 good races coming down the hill. Sometimes the horses that ran that 6.5 furlongs down the hill don't move that form to the mile turf. But I'm going to say that this horse is going in the right direction, and I think she was barely got beat there as a favorite. And I didn't have another alternative in here. I thought there were some other horses that looked good. Lexington Grace intrigues me a little bit with second time North America. They started out in a grade 3, Jimmy Durante, and she came from way out of it. Not the way you really want to come at Del Mar. Santa Anita that doesn't work as well either on this fast turf course. So I'm not sure that she's the quality of some of the North Americans shipping over here, but Castellano picks her up, so I think she's got a shot. I'm just going to take a stand. Epidemia's Girl for Bejarano certainly got a shot coming out of this stakes race, and 1 for 2 at Santa Anita. Take a shot with a one horse and single that horse. And then in the 12,005 claimer, I'm going to take all of them. Then I'm going to use 2 horses in the Santa Anita handicap, 2 we talked about with Accelerate the 7 and Mutahij the 8. And then in the last is a maiden special weight and kind of a crapshoot. I'm going to use Mike Smith. If he sticks around to the 11th, I always use him in the last race. I'm going to use Hope Wins the 1, the 3-horse Pacific Strike for Peter Urton, and the 5-horse Ranker for Jerry Hollendorfer, who's run into a lot of really good horses. And that horse, Epidemia's Girl ran against this horse earlier, so if that horse runs well in the previous race, you might look at Ranker as a good bet in this race because she has run up against some really good fillies and looking to break her maiden here. So I'm going to go 1 with all with 7-8 with 1-3-5.
Mine starts out with 5 horses. Miss Bad Behavior. Miss Bad Behavior is the one I like too. Like that post. She's had some bad posts. But Epidemia's Girl, Lexington Grace, Slick Trick, and California Gold Rush. I'm going to use all of those. So 1, 4, 5, 8, 9. In the claimer, I'm going to use the 2 Saddlers. If I had to pick a winner, I'd say one of those 2. The 9, Marvelous Max. The 11, Biddy. But 4, Rocky Show. 12, Liberty Jack. I'm going to use those 2 as well. Going to use the 2 Bafferts in the Santa Anita handicap, Mutahij and Opportunity. And then I like those same 3. I think there's a good chance the winner's one of those 3 in the last leg. So you can narrow it down a little bit in the last 2, but the challenge is those first 2. So I've got 5 by 4 by 2 by 3 for my Pick 4 ticket. Best of luck with your wagers. Great racing card. You've also got Derby Prep, the Tampa Bay Derby down at Tampa. So the great racing's heating up. We're just about a month away from Keeneland starting its spring meet, too. For Jim Goodman, I'm Tom Leach, and this is the In the Money Podcast.